is for mature audiences only. Some viewers might find this disturbing. Lindsay Elizabeth Buziak was born on November 2nd, 1983, to parents Jeff and Evelyn Buziak. She had one sister named Sarah. In 2008, at the young age of 24, Lindsay was a driven real estate agent at Remax, Comoson Realtor in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. She was outgoing and friendly, so this was the perfect career for her. She was described by her family, friends, and colleagues as popular and caring. Her boyfriend, Jason Zalo, belonged to a prominent and affluent family that operated a successful real estate business. Lindsay was extremely successful for her age. Her father, Jeff Buziak, was also a realtor in Calgary. On January 31st, 2008, Lindsay received a call with a promising opportunity, a woman seeking her expertise to find a potential dream home. The woman expressed how urgent she was about purchasing a home for herself and her husband. The couple's budget was $1 million. She outlined some specific details for the ideal property. Lindsay was enticed by the potential of a substantial commission, which would have been her most significant sale yet. So she eagerly took on the challenge and found the perfect house to show the couple. Lindsay scheduled the property showing for February 2nd, 2008 at 5:30 p.m., unknowingly stepping into a fateful encounter that would change the course of her life forever. Lindsay informed her father about her new client. Jeff, her father, would later state that Lindsay had a weird feeling about this call. The client called Lindsay's personal phone, which was the first red flag. Usually clients will contact Lindsay through the office phone or her work phone. She questioned the client about how she got her personal number. The client stated one of other Lindsay's clients gave her Lindsay's cell phone number. Regardless, Lindsay was eager for this new client. On February 2nd, 2008, Lindsay and her boyfriend, Jason Zalo, met for a late lunch, marking another day in their year-long relationship. Despite how happy the couple looked, Lindsay had some reservations about the relationship. Jason was way too possessive and controlling. Side note, I just have to pause the case for just a second. It's raining really hard outside, and it'll be raining all day. So if you hear raining in the background, I apologize about that. So anyways, I digress. These traits conflicted with her free-spirited and ambitious nature. During an open conversation with Jason, she disclosed details about her new client. She referred to them as, quote, the Mexicans, end quote. She informed Jason about the scheduled appointment, and he informed her that he would meet her at the house after the viewing to sign some papers. At 4:30 p.m., after eating their lunch, the couple went their separate ways. Unfortunately, this would be the last time he would see his girlfriend, Lindsay, alive. Jason picked up his friend named Cohen Oatman for a game of scrub hockey. They made a brief stop at an auto business that was captured on surveillance footage as they arrived and departed. Afterwards, Jason headed towards De Sosa Place, which is the street where the house was located. De Sosa Court is named after developer Joe De Sosa, who is a friend and business associate of Shirley Zalo, Jason's mother. Is this a coincidence? The house seemed like the perfect fit for Lindsay's client and her husband. It was a brand new development and move-in ready. It was 3 bedrooms and 3 baths and was listed for $965,000, which was a little below the couple's $1 million budget. Lindsay arrived just before 5:30 p.m. and parked her car in the driveway. She reviewed her paperwork just to double-check the house details before entering the property at 5:29 on the dot. The time time was documented as Lindsay needed to access a lockbox linked to a computer system. Two individuals in the cul-de-sac spotted a man and woman walking toward the house. Lindsay introduced herself and the trio entered the house together. Jason texted Lindsay, notifying her of his arrival in approximately 10 to 15 minutes. She acknowledged the message and told him they had already arrived. Jason sent another text message at 5:38 p.m. to inform her that he was just a couple of minutes away, but Lindsay never read the message or responded. Jason arrived at the house around 5:45 p.m. He initially parked outside, but would later move to Turquoise Drive after a few minutes of not being able to locate Lindsay. A man and a woman opened the front door, but quickly returned back inside. Growing increasingly worried when Lindsay failed to respond to his texts, Jason and Cohen spent some time in the car before deciding to approach the house. When they reached the front door, it was locked. He peeped through the multi-glass and spotted Lindsay's shoes in the foyer area. However, there was no indication of movement, and no one responded to his knocks on the door, so this will prompt him to contacting police. Cohen went to the back door and discovered it was ajar. He entered the house and opened the front door for Jason. Jason rushed upstairs, attempting to locate Lindsay. He ran upstairs straight to the master bedroom. He discovered Lindsay's lifeless body at 6:11 p.m. She was lying in a pool of blood and had been stabbed multiple times. As chilling and horrifying I'm sure that discovery was, he contacted the police a second time, and emergency services would arrive shortly after. After paramedics arrived, she was declared dead. She sustained multiple stab wounds with no evidence of defensive injuries, which suggested more than likely she was attacked from behind. When she turned around to show the couple the ensuite bathroom in the master bedroom, a call was placed from her BlackBerry. The person picked up, but it was just a muffled sound. The person assumed that the call was placed accidentally. The chilling realization was the fact that Lindsay's killer or killers specifically targeted her that day. Despite the violent nature of the crime, there was no evidence of her being inappropriately touched. An investigation around the home concluded that none of her belongings were taken. Jason and Cohen were taken into custody but were quickly released without charges after their alibis checked out, and timestamp surveillance footage from the auto shop showed that they couldn't have been involved in the murder. The Sanch Police Department stated that Jason had consistently cooperated and has undergone multiple interviews. No DNA, fingerprints, or tangible evidence were found at the crime scene, indicating that the murder was meticulously organized and likely carried out by individuals with prior experience with murder. Investigators believed that the killers exited through the back door, leaving the door ajar and making their escape through the fence to their vehicle on Torquay Drive. Lindsay was stabbed over 40 times. She had stab wounds to her head and chest. Police attempted to track down the couple she showed the house to, relying on descriptions provided by witnesses who spotted them with Lindsay. Two of the witnesses described the woman as having blonde hair and a vibrant dress. The man was Caucasian, over 6 feet tall, with dark hair. Police traced the phone call that she received from the quote client. The call was placed from a cell phone that was purchased in Vancouver 3 months prior to the homicide. The phone was registered under the name Paulo Rodriguez, which turned out to be a fake name. It was registered to a legitimate business address in Vancouver. Police would figure out that the business was forcefully involved in this case, and the address was chosen at random. The cell phone was purchased with cash and dedicated solely to contacting Lindsay. Despite it being purchased in November 2007, it wasn't activated until late January 2008. The cell phone magically made its way to the island 24 hours before Lindsay's tragic murder. phone's history, it revealed that it was exclusively used to make calls to Lindsay. This information was confirmed by a cell tower in Vancouver. Police discovered that over a dozen calls were made to Lindsay, and after her murder, there were no more calls made and the cell phone was deactivated. Police looked into her relationship with Jason. Her dad, Jeff, stated that their relationship had been a good one, but she was considering ending the relationship. Police looked a little deeper into Jason. They encouraged him to take a polygraph test, in which he did, and he passed. Jason's family was investigated due to their connections with the cul-de-sac. As I stated earlier, the cul-de-sac name was after Joe DeSouza, which is a friend and business associate of Jason's mother, Shirley Zilo. Joe DeSouza was present in the area just 1 hour before the murder. He was allegedly supervising ongoing work that was done in the area. Police have stated that no member of Jason's family is considered a suspect. In a September 2010 Dateline episode called Dream House Murder, Saanich detectives discovered a peculiar connection from December of 2007, just 8 weeks before Lindsay's murder. While she was visiting Calgary, Lindsay attempted to contact a friend of her ex-boyfriend. On January 22, 2008, a significant drug bust occurred in Alberta, accusing the friend in a major drug trafficking operation. An initial speculation suggested that Lindsay's murder might be linked to a drug cartel. She was suspected of being a police informant. So this leads me into this question: was Lindsay killed because she knew too much information? If so, why and who would set her up? An alternative speculation tied her murder to another drug-related incident, which focused on a man heavily involved in narcotic trafficking in British Columbia and Alberta. This theory was discarded due to Lindsay and her boyfriend's phone being wiretapped. Upon investigation, Lindsay had no involvement in drug use of trafficking. This led police to believe that her murder was highly personal and orchestrated by someone with insider information from her real estate office. Later, in 2008, Nikki, who was a close friend of Lindsay, claimed she received a disturbing phone call in the middle of the night from an unfamiliar number. While the details of the conversation were blurred, Nikki distinctly remembered an accent from the female caller. Nikki remembered Lindsay stating that her unidentified client had a similar accent. Nikki continuously called the number 20 or 30 times, and guess who finally answered on the other end? None other than Jason's mother, Shirley. Shirley questioned Nikki as to how she got her number. Shirley suggested that her son might have added the number. Shirley denies that this incident ever happened, and it remains undisclosed as to if this even took place or not. Every year in February, Jeff Buziak organizes a memorial walk to commemorate his daughter and sustain public awareness of the case. In 2020, the Capital Daily discovered new details through a release of public records related to the case. The documents revealed the existence of 2 phones used by the suspects, one with a Vancouver number exclusively for contacting Lindsay, and another one that was utilized to check the voicemail of the other. Unusual internet activity tied to Lindsay before her murder was also shared, with police suspicion suggesting a potential role of, quote, violent criminals among her Facebook friends. And in February of 2021, Saanich police reported advancements in DNA analysis and other technologies, leading to new leads in the case. Despite the initial announcement, there have been no updates in the case, and as of the recording of this video, Lindsay Buziak's murder has not been solved. I pray that her family finds closure and bring her killers to justice. But one thing is for certain, you cannot do bad in this life and not expect it to ever come back to bite you.